It's Brother Karatazar, Shield of Israel, 144, back again with another quick precept. And today's topic is going to be not like the heathen, right? The Most High gave us specific commandments, the children of Israel, you so-called blacks, native and Hispanics of Negro and Indian descent, to be separate from the other nations and not to be like them. So we're just going to jump right into it. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, chapter 3. And it reads, after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwell, shall you not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall you walk in their ordinances. Verse 4, ye shall do my judgments and keep my ordinances, to walk therein. I am the Lord your God. Verse 5, ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord. So the Lord is saying, don't walk in the ordinances of the other nations, right? Because he gave you ordinances that he told you should walk in. And he also told you, if you keep these judgments and them statutes, that a man shall live, So that's just plain upon tables. We're not supposed to do after the other nations, but we're supposed to walk in the ways of the Lord, the Most High God of Israel. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 2. Right. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. And it reads, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them. Verse 3, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. Verse 4, they deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. Right. So this is the Lord telling us not to follow the customs of the heathen. Right. Like cutting a tree out and decking it with silver and gold. Hence the Christmas tree, basically. That's what it's saying. We're not supposed to keep Christmas because you can't find Christmas nowhere in the scriptures. Right. And here's the Lord telling us, hey, the custom of the heathen is vain. It's not profitable for you, because the Lord told us what we should be doing, and we should be keeping his ways, keeping his law, statutes, and commandments, and not following the heathen who don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God of Israel. Right. And let's go over to the New Testament, to the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 7. Right. Here's Christ, teaching the disciples on the way they should pray. Right. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 7. And it read, but when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathens do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Verse 8, be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him. Right. So this is Christ explaining on how to pray and not to be like the heathen, because they want to speak, use a lot of words and, things of that nature. They want to be seen of men. The Lord tell you how to pray from verse 6, 6 all the way down to 13, even the prayer and how to pray in secret, But the Lord is Christ is telling you not to pray out in public where you could be seen of men using a lot of words and just rambling on, and he gave you the prayer that you should be praying. So don't be using vain repetitions like the heathen and want to be seen of men like the heathen. Right. Let's move on to the book of Revelations, chapter 18 and verse 4. Right. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 4. And it reads, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. So this her is talking about Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, who partake in many sins and have other nations following after her because of Babylon's influence on the whole world. Right. And the Lord said, come out of her. and be not partakers of our sins. Because if you walking in the ordinances and the law, statute, commandments of the Most High God of Israel, you're not going to be partakers of a sinful nation, right? Let's move on to the book of Corinthians, right? This is going to be 2 Corinthians 6 and 17, right? This is the book of Corinthians, 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and 16, and it reads, "And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. And as God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people." Verse 17, "Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you." Verse 18, "And I will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty." See, you can't be following after the ways of the heathens and have the Lord, the Most High God, be with you, right? That's the reason he's telling you to separate yourself from the heathen. He used the example, what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? The scriptures do tell us, paraphrasing, that ye are the temples. Your body is the temple of God. So you can't be worshiping idols and doing as the heathens do and expect the Lord to dwell within you, right? Let's go back to the Old Testament, to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 45, right? And it reads, "My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord." It's just basically saying what Revelations 18 said, talking about the virgin daughter of Babylon, to come out of her and be not partakers of her sins, and avoid the fierce anger of the Lord if you don't, So you can avoid the fierce anger of the Lord just by coming out of the midst of the wickedness and the influence and the false doctrines of a nation that you're supposed to be separated from in the first place, right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy and wrap this up, right? Chapter 32, verse 8, right? This book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 8. And it reads, "When the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel." For verse 9, "For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance." So the Lord separated the nations. We was never intended to be kumbaya and holding hands with other nations. The Lord separated us, and we are his portion. The children of Israel is the Lord's portion and the lot of his inheritance, right? Let me get one more to wrap it up. It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 26, right? And it reads, the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 26, and it reads, "And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy. I have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine." Once again, the Lord separated us from other people. He never intended us to follow the other nations. We're supposed to follow the Most High God of Israel, right? He did this on purpose because we are the lot of his inheritance. We are his people, right? And I'm going to get one more to wrap it up. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. And this is the whole reason, right? For this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6, and it reads, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." That's playing upon tables. The Lord chose us to be a special people, a holy people, unto himself. See, we are the Lord's people. We should be doing what the Lord told us to do according to the scriptures, because the Lord separated us from the other nations. Do thus saith the Lord, and separate yourself so we can be above all people that's on the face of the earth. It's Brother Karatazar, Shield of Israel, 144. Shalom.